Welcome to the Lab Podcast, episode 19. We've somehow done 19 episodes. I was not here for the last two.
That's kind of crazy.
Following.
Like doing 19 episodes, that's been...
Oh, actually?
Since the first
we
one?
should do something for the year. That'll be fun.
Dude, that's kind of crazy. Like
2 weeks. Yeah, so we kind of cheat. Yeah, it is a long time. It's a long time. I mean, we still have to stay consistent. And fortunately, we had COVID and Aeon cover for two of the last podcasts. Both really interesting podcasts, very different. So you can I kind of realized like different hosts just have like bring so many different personalities.
Yeah,
like,
different perspectives.
Yeah,
too.
very different. So I don't know. Maybe it's something we'll do more in the future and just kind of switch out the hosts. Like you're tired of hearing me yap for an hour every other week, so you know. But this episode, I think, is pretty. It's gonna be a pretty interesting one. This is the first post tour, I guess, time you haven't talked about it before now.
I mean, yeah, this is the first time like ever going on tour, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be an interesting podcast.
Yeah, so
go through a lot.
Yeah, Ethan specifically, had the opportunity to go on a North American tour on the GSoul tour, basically all through June, and Ethan invited me out to DJ for him. So
Shout out to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Shout out to you, bro. It was a very interesting month, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Supposed to be 19 shows in 30 days, basically, which is, I mean, if you do the math, that's chaotic. That's a lot of shows.
Yeah, that's a lot of shows. I think, or for me, it was 17 because I wasn't doing Toronto and Montreal because they were just like, oh, you performed there too much, so let's skip over
makes
those.
Sense. You did that headliner, like no need, and also like Eric Ryan, the one who did do the Toronto and Montreal show, incredible artist, great performance, like so I think it was great. Worked out overall.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll Well, basically, we haven't really reflected on our experiences on the tour fully, so I guess this will be our opportunity to and kind of recount everything that happened. Really, I mean, to start, first of all, how did you even get the opportunity of going on this tour with GSoul?
Well, I think like a few months ago, I had met somebody from Kohai, which is like the touring agency. And they were really interested in working with me, and they're a big like supporter of like the upcoming like artists that are coming out of North America, especially like Asian Americans as well. And so they were interested in like signing me to their agency. We're going back and forth for a few months, and the opportunity came up. And not gonna lie, it was a rush. Like literally, literally like 1 month before the actual tour started. That's when we finalized like everything. We're like, okay, like this is actually happening. Yeah. And we had to rush the visas. We had to rush. There's a bunch of planning that.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to talk about the visa process? I feel like that's pretty important because you can't even get into the States with that one.
Yeah, like if you get caught performing in the States without a visa, I'm pretty sure you get banned for a few years. Like, did not want to do that like that early into my career. Yeah. So,
and for transparency, we're based out of Canada in Toronto. Yeah. So when you tour mostly in the States, you're making income, you're like performing, so you have to do things correctly, basically. Like you have to get this visa, or it's like a huge risk, not worth it. So
especially if you're doing such a big tour like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, as you said, the visa like you didn't really know until like a month out where everything's finalized, and so the visa process also has to be pretty quick too.
Yeah, has to be quick. You have to get it expedited, which costs like a lot more. I think like the total for the visa was like 4.5 or 4.6K or something like that.
Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it sets you back.
Yeah. I mean, and so you start the tour, you haven't even gone yet. You have to pay for the visa. You're already in a hole.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a really interesting, firsthand experience of like when we were growing up or when we first started music. I think there was a general like sort of understanding that you go on tour, you make money, you sell merch, like you perform, like you'll make bank, like that's how you do it. Streaming is not it. Like that's not how you make your money. But I think the touring landscape nowadays has changed a little bit. I would say it's not as lucrative or like you're gonna make money on the tour. You have to do. You kind of sort of have to plan ahead and do things right.
Yeah.
In order to kind of make money off a tour, let's say.
You have to cut down your expenses for sure.
Yeah, and even Miko said like himself, like throughout the tour, there was issues that happened, unforeseen circumstances that like you'll just lose money, you know, and you're gonna have to be able to cover that. And that's kind of the big lessons we've learned, traveling. And so let's jump forward to. I mean, we can talk about your preparation and stuff, but it's your normal like.
Yeah.
You got to perform 8 songs, opening set, kind of preparing merch that you're gonna have to sell and things like that. So I guess there's not much to touch on. And then
I guess I could touch on like how I prepared before the tour.
Yeah.
Like before the tour, I definitely like it's more of like a marathon. You really have to last and you have to be mentally and physically prepared. So before the tour, I trained. I think I was with my vocal coach for a good like 5-6 months like before, and we made sure that like I would be ready to perform the best that I could and last throughout. I think like physically, I also really wanted to be healthy for this tour, just because like I know I was going to be on the tour bus. It's going to be tiring. Like we're not going to eat like really healthy foods.
Yeah.
So just had to make sure that physically and mentally I was in tip top shape.
And that this is you got it. You said 4, 5, 6 months out. Like physically preparing, and then also like your actual like training, vocal training and performance. Like this is all prepared for like way before the tour even starts. Yeah. And so June starts, and then we fly out to Vancouver and we start the tour basically. And we don't really get on the tour bus until Minnesota, which is the second show.
Was Minnesota the second show? Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we started in Vancouver, Minnesota, and then so we had to fly to Vancouver and then fly out to Minnesota.
Yeah.
So first show, like sort of how are you feeling? Kind of what was the process like?
Honestly, like I came into Vancouver like really excited, of course, but because I've performed there before, it was like it wasn't anything like new to me.
Right. Yeah. So you kind of knew what to expect.
Yeah.
Performing there before, interesting crowd, I will say. I mean, this will be a topic later on, but like crowds definitely drastically vary.
Yeah.
The energy, the type of people, the demographic, city to city, like changes a lot. And as artists and as performers, you feed off that energy. So then you might feel like if the crowd isn't giving you as much, like it's going to be hard to perform as good as you want. So, and also like Vancouver is the first performance, like there's going to be problems, like some kinks you got to iron out. Yeah. Like kind of solidify the set. What do we like during, do soundcheck. Soundcheck is also like an important thing. Like what sort of things do we need to make sure are 100% good during soundcheck? So during the performance, we don't have to worry about it anymore. You don't want to fight like frequencies or like having too much reverb on your vocals, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Those sort of things, Going to Minnesota now, sort of the West Coast. I mean, we'll kind of walk through like the whole thing, and then we'll kind of talk about major events that happen.
Midwest for Minnesota.
Yeah. So we're in Minnesota, and I don't know. I didn't really expect much.
No, because it was so funny because after the flight, we get down and we're on the Uber to our hotel, and we just see green, and I'm like, when are we going to hit the city? And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, we're in the city.
We're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, I guess like Minnesota feels like in the middle. You zoom out of Google Maps of like the Twin Cities. Basically, it was at St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Oh, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Yeah.
And then you zoom out, and there's just nothing.
It's just green. It's just green.
And you're like, oh god.
It feels like a suburb.
Yeah.
It's like a big suburb.
Yeah, and we were downtown.
Yeah.
And then so we're going to, or at least I'm going to. I'm like, I don't know what this crowd's like. I don't really know what the community is out here. Like, I don't know how many people are going to show up. Yeah. And then it was an amazing show. Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, the energy was crazy. The fans, like, knew the words, too. Like, it was such a pleasant surprise. Like, they really showed up for the performance. And I have a theory. It's because, like, not a lot of artists come over to Minneapolis. Or maybe they do, and I'm just, like, ignorant. But I think it's more like there's not much to do in the city. So when it comes to concerts, they're ready to like turn up and have fun.
Yeah. They really did.
Yeah.
And it was great energy, and it was a really great send off into the bus. So
Yeah.
this is the first time being on a tour bus, and I don't know what the audience is thinking when you think of a tour bus. I know what I was thinking when I was being on a tour bus. I thought it was gonna be a lot bigger.
Really?
I just thought it was gonna be big because when you see the actual bus, you're like, oh, it's not that big. It doesn't feel that big.
Yeah.
You kind of walk in, and there is like an kind of communal area. There's the sink, the bathroom, 2 couches. There were like 8 people on the bus. Kohai crew,
10.
us.
Initially 10.
Initially 10, and I mean people go in and out. Like
Yeah.
people have different agendas and things like that.
Yeah.
GSoul's crew, obviously. So, and the way we would sleep, because you not every night you back to backs and you travel, so you need to sleep on the bus. And so the way those things are kind of stacked up is like
There's like 3 bunks.
3 bunks, and there's 4, so 12 bunks in total. And then you kind of there are a little couple rules when it comes to bunks. Is like some of the older, like, because the top bunks is actually like kind of difficult to get up. So if you have mobility is an issue, like you can't take the top bunk, it's impossible to get up there.
Yeah.
So middle bunk's generally the easier one to get into because you kind of like standing and then slide in. And then me and you were on the bottom bunk, so we had the choice between top and the bottom. Interesting sleeping on the bottom. Got a little dirty, dusty for sure. I mean, the bus in general was like towards the end of the tour.
Yeah. Like buses, you're going in and out. You're bringing in like dirt and like.
Yeah.
It does get a little stuffy in the bunks.
Yeah, and the AC, that particular bus, like the engine wasn't working all the time, so it would like the actual engine to run the bus, and then there's the engine that runs the electricity.
The generator.
Yeah, the generator. That would turn off.
If it got too hot, it would turn off.
Yeah, and it got stuffy in there.
Yeah,
so there's some nights you'd wake up just drenched in sweat. You're like, oh my god, like where am I?
Especially in Texas and like in I think Arizona, that's when it was like, okay, this is hot.
Yeah. But like, I like sleeping on moving cars, so it was actually pretty nice sleeping in the bunks, and you feel really cozy and stuff.
Yeah, you kind of feel like you're getting like rocked to sleep.
Yeah. And well, okay, in terms of space, like I think if I was like turning to my side, I would only be able to like just get my elbow through. So if that kind of gives you, it's a little bit claustrophobic. So, you definitely don't want to spend too much time in there, but for the most part, I think it was really comfortable. It was a good experience in general on the bus itself. Yeah. I mean, we're getting accommodated through Minnesota, and then we go to Chicago. That was the next one.
Yeah.
And was that a back-to-back? Yeah. Minnesota, Chicago was a back-to-back.
Yeah. And I think that was like the first time where I was just like, okay, I realized I should not drink before a show. Like the night before a show, should not drink.
Because it's a back-to-back. And, yes, when you're performing, it's only like 20 minutes on stage, and that in and of itself is not that much time in terms of the performance, but performing takes a lot out of you. You have to sing, like you're in a foreign environment. You have to entertain as well. You're an entertainer, right? So 20 minutes feels like way more. Like you're taking the entire day to prepare for those 20 minutes to give the best performance you can. So you have a couple hours before a sound check. You have to like get ready, like you don't necessarily get to go to a hotel all the time. Sometimes you just have to take what the venue gives you, and venues come in different shapes and sizes. So you're kind of in a foreign environment. You're kind of trying to get settled, getting ready to prepare, doing your vocal warm-ups in a different environment. So it takes a toll on you when you have to do back-to-back nights. And sorry, as you're saying, we were sort of, it's the first time we really got to chill with the crew.
Yeah.
Crew in general. And the Kohai mans were like sitting there. Shout out Roger, shout out Yura, shout out Sarah. They were accompanying us on the tour.
Yeah. They took care of us really well.
Oh yeah. And you do what you do when you meet people and socialize. You drink.
Yeah, you do drink, especially on tour. People drink a lot on tour. I don't think
I was not prepared for that. I'm not gonna lie.
Really, I knew people drank. I didn't think that we'd be drinking that much.
Yeah, and well, especially off days, downtime. There's nothing to do, and you're kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
like so what isn't Albuquerque, New Mexico? You know what I'm saying? You're just in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for a day.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you're bored? Have some fun, you drink. So it's taxing. And so as you find out, probably not the best idea when you're preparing.
Yeah.
Like just go to sleep, get your rest, do the back to back, and have fun later.
I think Chicago was like the show that like I learned not to drink before, and then also I learned that like I should spend extra time at soundcheck.
Yeah,
because that was probably like my worst performance throughout the whole tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. We were in Talia Hall.
Yeah,
a little bit bigger cap, and so there's a lot of like slapback.
Yeah,
for more technical terms. So when it comes to reverb, it'll feed right back into the ears, into the mic, and things like that. And we weren't really thinking about that. Like we knew there were problems when we were sound checking, but we didn't really know like that we should just adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
And we thought, like people will come in, like the bodies will soak up the reverb.
Yeah.
Like it'll be a lot better. But then you perform on stage, it's just as bad.
Yeah.
So these things really affect you. Like you have to be able to hear yourself. Like you want to be able to feel comfortable on stage and feel confident in your performing in order to like give a good performance, right? It's like maybe the average fan, they're kind of just like, they're just enjoying the show. Like they it doesn't matter what happens on stage. Like they're just enjoying it. But for us, as this is your profession, this is what you like really take a lot of time preparing and doing. It is disappointing when you don't feel like you really performed on stage.
Yeah, like I want to give a good performance. Like these fans came out, they paid money, and they like took time out of their day to come have fun, and I just want to give the best experience that I could give.
Yeah.
And when I can't do that, I think like that's when it really hit me. I was just like, oh fuck, like I really did not give a good performance. I need to bounce back from this.
Yeah.
And it taught me too that like not every show is going to be a good show. It's like almost impossible.
Like you prepare and you want it to be, but like varying factors, like things happen.
Yeah.
We're on tour, like we're out in a foreign environment, like things happen. There's a lot of people, like personalities, different venues, different sound guys, different front of house. So it's up and down.
All you can do. It's a journey.
Yeah. All you can really do is control what you can control, right?
Yeah.
And that's really what we focused on.
Yeah.
So Boston, after we went back home. No, was it Boston, New York?
It was Boston. Then
sorry.
Went back. Oh,
Chicago.
No.
Chicago, we went back home.
Yeah.
Kind of had a week break because it was Toronto, Montreal, and then so we just kind of went home to Toronto. They were from stopped in London as a day, so we headed back. Got a little bit of a break, and I actually really appreciated that 1 week because I realized on the bus some of the things I was missing or some of the things I needed. Because one of the things is when you use the bathroom on the bus, you can only liquids basically. So no solids. Like the bus, the way the pump works, like it just kind of fit that. So one of the rules is that only liquids. So you only really get to take a number one on the bus. And this might be too much information. My body needs to function certain ways. So I need to use the bathroom for things that are not also number ones, and it was a little bit stressful. And so sort of going home and resetting, being like, okay, there's a couple like some skincare stuff or bringing slides, for example, where just some of the things I was missing for the bus and kind of resetting and reevaluating the things I wanted to focus on moving into the actual, we're going to be gone for the next 2.5 weeks, basically. Yeah. Right.
It was pretty funny going back to that, waking up every morning, like not being able to like take a dump on the bus. Like literally in the morning, I would just text Henry like, yo, because I'm really picky, right? Like I can't just take a dump anywhere.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
I need somewhere clean. I need somewhere nice. Yeah. So
private.
every single morning, I'm like, Henry, where's like the nearest like 4-star hotel that we could just like take a dump at? Because we just like sneak into the hotel and use the washroom, come back out.
Here's the tag: 4-star hotels, they're nice. They probably won't turn you away. Like if you look.
Yeah.
If you're just a normal person, you walk in. So we walked into and the valet like opened the doors. For us.
Valet opened.
I'm just here to go to the bathroom, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of a bonding experience, trying to find a 4-star hotel to take a dump in.
Yeah. But you can go anywhere. You go anywhere.
Look, when you have a bowel and a stomach like mine, and you're just eating stuff, some things, and drinking also, like I need to go to the bathroom more often. You kind of just don't have a choice, because if you are picky, I will not have enough underwear for the trip. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel you.
yeah, I got over that fear a little bit earlier in my life, but like, you know, it would be nice to dump somewhere nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, enough about that talk.
Let's see if there's any like highlights instead of going like city to city. Like
highlights. East Coast is interesting.
yeah, I like New York. They had like good energy.
Yeah, New York is great. Boston, low-key.
Boston, I did not love.
I didn't really. Oh, Washington was a lot of fun.
Washington, yeah. Washington had one of the better crowds for sure.
Yeah, Washington was a lot of fun. Great crowd. The venue I think it was called the Union Stage, is right next to the pier in Washington. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Interesting fan interaction after.
Yeah.
Too.
Definitely had a few interesting fan interactions like throughout the tour, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, Washington was memorable. Met our your closer friend, but also
Hyben.
a great singer-songwriter in and of itself and producer, Hyben.
Yeah.
And I think that was sort of the theme throughout the tour. Like, it was great to meet people that we could sort of met beforehand, or
had met online.
Yeah, just met online. You get to meet them in person for the first time, so it was really fun.
And then also meeting a lot of artists and producers that like you listened to growing up.
Oh yeah, I mean, towards the end of the tour, and we'll get there. Like, you just meet some idols. Like, I just saw Cha-Cha Malone in Seattle, which makes sense. I mean, I don't really think about it like that. Like, you don't just assume they're based out of like Jay Park's hometown, I guess. You know, where he stayed most of the time. Yeah, I just saw one of my producer idols, and just like, I wouldn't have met him if it wasn't for the tour.
Yeah,
so that was really cool.
I mean, even touring with GSoul too, like,
dude, like, yeah, I guess we talk about that. Like, GSoul was someone we kind of listened to in 2016, 2017 when we were in high school, like first studying music, getting into like the R&B, Korean music scene in general.
Yeah.
So what a like unforgettable experience, like just being able to like meet him and even just like open for him throughout the tour, you know?
Yeah.
Like, sort of, what are your thoughts, like being able to interact with GSoul and like talk with him, pick his brain?
I definitely like listened to GSoul throughout high school, not really like really deep in, but like when like the blue tapes came through and like Hate Everything, like definitely that era.
I see.
So it was really cool being able to meet him, being able to like pick his brain on certain like how he views his career, how he views music, and like GSoul can sing.
Yo, he's so good.
Sing.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I didn't know that he grew up basically in New York.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And like he had a bunch of like crazy like vocal trainers who've trained like legends in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool, like seeing his experience. He kind of like was talking about like his career, his thoughts on certain things, and it was really cool just seeing him in his element, performing, seeing how he prepares, seeing how he interacts with his DJ and what he's looking for when it comes to his set. And like he has to do like an hour-long set. It's a long time.
It is.
So vocally, it's very taxing. And then hearing his warm-ups, even the nitty-gritty stuff, like seeing how he prepares was like really cool. It was a really great experience.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a very humble and very generous guy. Like, naturally, you're just kind of nervous before you're going on. You don't know how they're gonna treat you. Like, a very foreign environment. Like, maybe the headline like just won't interact with you. Yeah. So you just gotta tough it out for like the whole tour. But
he was very welcoming.
Yeah, very welcoming. So that was really fun. So I mean, going into the South, that was fun.
Dallas.
I haven't really been to the South, like Southern U.S. like that. Like I performed in Houston once, like a couple years ago, but being in Atlanta and going to Dallas, man, what a beautiful city.
Dallas was great. Yeah. And I know you had the time of your life when we got barbecue there.
Oh, dude. So I had like Texas barbecue before, but I guess I didn't have like really good one.
Yeah.
But like, we went to Terry Black's. Okay.
Shout out Terry Black's.
Is well known, a little more touristy, whatever. Holy shit. That was life changing. Their beef ribs.
Dude. You gotta get their beef ribs. That shit just like slid off. Like
yeah. And I knew it was gonna be crazy when they chop it right in front of you when you order, and when they cut the beef rib, you can just see the juice like coming out.
Yeah.
Like right away, you're like,
insane.
Oh, like this is gonna be insane.
Like I remember you were telling me like, yo, I almost cried. Like
actually, it was such a moving experience. I don't know. And there's only 3 for sure times that like I almost cried eating food, and that was one of them.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, me and you, like, we're gonna talk about food a lot. I mean, we were joking about how this tour was low key like a food tour as well.
Food tour. Yeah.
Because we just really love food, and you get to travel through like East Coast food cultures, Southern food cultures, West Coast food cultures. You get to experience so many different types of food that you normally don't even get to try, just in Toronto, or maybe better, like just have a deeper, richer type of cuisine there that we don't normally get to eat much in Toronto, and it was really fun to be able to do that as well. And I don't know how your experience was like going through the middle and last leg of the tour, but like it does get exhausting.
Like I definitely felt a little more physically tired. I think I was still like if we did a few more shows, I think I'd still be okay. But you know, I think sleeping on the bus, I don't know, sometimes you wake up and you're just sore.
Yeah.
My neck was a little sore, my shoulder was a little sore. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Like
Yeah, it's cramped, and you know, it's not the best bedding. It's good. Like you're not like, it's not a board, but you know, you would prefer to sleep in a hotel or in an actual bed, right?
For sure.
So I mean, physically, like it definitely gets you towards the end of it. I didn't feel homesick at all towards the end.
No, I didn't.
But I definitely
you did?
No, like I didn't feel it that much, like homesick, that feeling. But for me, it was like the days started like kind of blending together.
Okay.
It was like, oh, we're kind of recounting each different stage in every city, like what was happening. But towards the end, like West Coast, like everything was sort of blending together. I was like thinking, like, wait, what stage or what venue did we perform at again? Like, oh, what was Phoenix? Oh, sorry. Side note, South, it was pretty hot already, like compared to what we're used to here.
But Phoenix was different.
Phoenix, 115 Fahrenheit, which is what, 43, 45 degrees Celsius?
Yeah, something
dry
like that.
heat, straight dry heat. Yo, I've never experienced any, like, I was in Japan, that was like 40 degrees Celsius, but that was like humid heat. You know, you just sweat. It's hot, but like you can kind of survive through it with enough water and stuff. But like dry heat, 45 degrees, I felt like I was burning alive.
You step out and you're just like cooked.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be out at all in Phoenix. I don't know why people move there, but anyways, towards the end of the tour,
It was a great show though.
It was a great show.
Yeah,
it was a good crowd.
Phoenix was great.
y'all crazy out there for sure.
Denver and Phoenix, great crowds.
Oh, Denver was a great city. I can go through every city. Denver, I think if there was a city I was to move to that I didn't realize I wanted to move to, Denver.
It'd be Denver, just because like the weather's pretty nice too.
Yeah, and
the air is clean.
The air is crispy, man.
What did we eat in Denver? I don't even remember.
Oh, dude.
Oh, the salad.
Yeah, we'll flash it. I'll send Ryan a video. But there's the salad place that it's just called Farm and Market or something, and then they grew their own. They had like a whole like farm, like vertical farm in their store, in their restaurant. And when we walked in, we're just like, oh wow, this farm is cool. And then I don't know, the head chef, the owner, whatever, one guy walked up, was like, yo, you want to try some stuff that we grew? Walks over to the wall,
just
picks
picks
it
it
off
off
the wall, and then gives us a try. And it's like, that's when we knew, gotta buy a salad.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
gotta get a salad.
That was crazy.
It was probably the best salad like I've had.
Yeah. Wild experience. Yeah, and sort of wrapping up, what was sort of your mentality throughout all this tour? You know, like you started the tour already in the hole, you know, having to pay for the visa. What was sort of your strategy throughout the tour? And we kind of just be real, like, and transparent with people, like how a tour operates as an opener for a headliner for a North American tour. What are some of the things that you had to prepare for the whole leg of the tour in order to not, at the very least, not lose money, right?
I'm not gonna lie. For most people, they're like, as an opener, you're gonna lose money because it's more of like an investment. Luckily, like, and this is really rare. Okay. And I know this is really rare because my managers were surprised at like how much merch that I was selling.
Oh yeah.
He was like, oh, usually like their openers only sold like 2-3 pieces per show.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Max 5. I was doing like way more than that.
I didn't even realize it was
Openers,
like
openers don't sell that much merch. So thank God, like I did, and I was able to come out of like the tour fine. But for most people, like openers, the goal is not to make money on tour. The goal is to have fan interactions, to make sure that like, you know, you give a good performance, good experience, so that the next time you're at a place in your career where you can tour again, that's when like, oh, that fan remembered how you treated them, how you interacted with them, how your performance was, and they start bringing their friends. You know, that's when you start to get like a bigger tour. Yeah, but for openers, you hardly ever make money.
And I think your strategy for selling merch was pretty good. It was just as simple as, I'm gonna stand next to the merch table. I'm gonna tell people I'm gonna be here to, not necessarily to sell merch per se, but like you're there to interact with the fans.
I'm there to give you an experience. Like I literally tell them after every show, like, I'm here for you. Like, I want to take photographs. I want to meet the people who resonate with my music. And so those interactions I don't take very lightly. Like, I take it to heart, and I make sure that, like, you know, everyone that supports me, that everybody knows that I appreciate their support.
Oh yeah, 100%. And there was some really wholesome fan interactions. Some interesting ones, I'll say.
Yo, but Denver, when one of my fans, her name's Izzy, she brought like the home cooked like
chicken fajitas,
chicken fajita meals.
I don't know what to expect, because he said that, I was like, what? That's kind of weird. Like, low key, like that's like a fan, you know. And you can say parasocial, you can say whatever, but man, she cooked up some good ass chicken fajitas.
That was great. Like, Izzy's always like supported me. She's gone to like multiple shows like in LA as well. So like, yeah, shout out to her. Like,
yeah, that's amazing.
She was great.
Even funnier, we were munching on it, and then our production manager Roger looks at it, is like, I haven't eaten fan food in like years, and we're just like, what? You never know. we're like halfway through. Like,
I'm like, I don't care, bro.
It's too good, man. Whatever.
also, shout out to the West Coast opener, Sangstaa.
Yo, Sangstaa, shout out, man, shout out.
Sangstaa's a real one. He's like my bigger brother now. Like, he supported me throughout the tour. Even after the tour, we've been like talking like almost every day. Like, he's actually so real.
Yeah, and I mean, when a new person joined, so we had also. J-Kent and Oishin kind of open throughout the tours, like sporadically. So it was like
they did 4 shows or something like that.
Kind of just and they're really green to like performing in North America. So I mean, when you have different people joining the tour and stuff, like the dynamic changes. So when you have someone joining the entire West Coast leg, I personally wasn't that familiar with Sangstaa personally. We had mutuals, but like we just didn't know what type of person he was gonna be. But like when he pulled up in Denver for the first show, it was like vibes, right?
Yeah. He from the hood, like he's straight from the hood, and like it's so funny. Like, he's definitely like one of the funniest people I know. Also one of the realest people I know.
Yeah, he's so real.
He gives such great advice. Yeah. He was literally like, and he still is like, he acts like my bigger brother.
Yeah, he took care of us throughout the whole tour. Like, I felt the whole energy, like, kind of like completely changed when he pulled up, and it was a lot of fun.
There's some times when he was just like, "Yo, Ethan, let me take you shopping."
Like,
it's on me, bro. Like, he out here hustling.
Yeah, he about that, and he's an amazing performer, and his music's amazing. So check out Sangstaa. Yeah. It's Sangtaa.
Sangstaa.
Oh, Staa. Yeah. I mean, we'll flash the stuff up. Shout out to Sangstaa, man. He's amazing. Check out his shit. And yeah, that's sort of the whole experience in terms of what we had to deal with. I mean, some minor hiccups along the way, some unforeseen circumstances why, like, we were supposed to do 3 shows in Texas, only did end up doing 1. Yeah. But like, I mean, Houston, like the fans that we already saw outside.
Yeah, they gave me gifts too. I had a little like cowboy hat. Yeah, and they remember my birthday as well. It was so sick.
Yeah. So I mean, unfortunate, don't get to perform there, but like.
Yeah, but hopefully, like in the future, I definitely get to visit those cities again.
Was there anything that you were like completely unprepared for? Like, yo, you pulled up, you thought you had everything ready, but like, bam, like. Blindsided you?
I was not prepared for the feelings that I was gonna feel nearing the end of the tour and after the tour.
Oh shit! I kind of feel the same way.
Near the end of the tour, I think it just started hitting me that like I'm not gonna see a lot of the people that I've like made these connections with, and it was a lot to process because, like. you get so close with these people.
Yeah, you're stuck on a bus.
You're
for
stuck
a month.
on a bus for a month. You form your safe spaces, and then suddenly like it's just gone.
Yep.
You know, you come back. I come back home, and I no longer have to prep for a show. I no longer get to see the people that I was like really close with on tour, and like it's such a fast change of pace that people aren't ready for it. And I don't know how I could have prepared for it. You know.
Yeah.
I think there's the tour there's a term for it. It's called like post tour depression.
Yeah, they warned us about it in the beginning, but I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
we'll just get to the end of the tour first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real. That last show was interesting because it was like, I don't know whether to feel sad or excited or relieved. I'm definitely sad that I don't get to see anyone after this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you form such special bonds, not only because you're on the road, but because you share such a passion. Everyone's there because they're passionate about being there.
Yeah.
You know, like touring industry is like, it's not a glamorous or like,
It's not as glamorous as people think it is.
yeah, like you're in the sticks, you're in the mud, like
Yeah.
you're in the trenches. Sorry, not like when they mean in the sticks, but you know, like you're in the trenches together. You know, when shit happens, like you have to face it together. You know, so when you have to go through stuff and adversity, like it forms a special bond.
Yeah.
And it was definitely sad because the Kohai guys, like, and GSoul's team, like they have separate lives after this. They're going to keep going on tour. They have their own families and careers to nurture and stuff. So you may see them or you can visit them in different cities that they're at, but like you'll never see us as a group together, like probably ever. You know?
Unless we go on another tour and they're back at it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
I think like now coming back home and feeling like the post tour depression, I really needed to take the time to really process things and get back into routine. I think routine is such a important part of like combating it because like you got to keep yourself busy.
Yeah. It's you get into a routine while you're on tour, and then now that completely ends, and you have to go back into what you're doing before. But it's almost like I feel like it was sort of life changing for me.
Yeah,
like that tour.
for sure.
Like I feel like the way I look at music now, like have a whole new appreciation for the tour industry. Like when I went to go see Soul Child, which is the current Kohai tour going on right now. When they came to Toronto, I had a whole deeper appreciation, like singing right around the side.
Yeah.
it was like, like I know his job, what he does now on that stage. Like when I see like these tour people, I know what they do now, and like I have a whole deeper appreciation for it. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, some of the things we can touch on before we move on is like when it comes to best cities you performed in.
Okay, top cities.
Let's do top two cities you performed in.
So Minneapolis is number one.
Okay, which is surprising, man. That is surprising.
Minneapolis number one. Number two. Damn, there's a lot of them. Dallas was great.
Washington
was great.
LA
was surprisingly great because I performed in LA twice before, and like the energy is good, but it's never like amazing. But this time, LA was great. It's really hard.
Top three. I'll give you an extra one.
Okay. So Dallas, definitely.
Okay.
And then
I would say Washington, personally.
Washington.
I would go Washington. Washington. New York?
San Francisco is pretty good too.
Okay, San Francisco. Yeah.
I might have to put San Francisco as number 3 because, like, they knew the words and they were just like, they're screaming that.
That was really good energy. And this is to preface what we're gonna say for the worst cities.
Yeah,
it was back to back from one of what we feel like
was probably the worst city.
Like just experience in that performance and things like that. Yeah. So, I mean, top 3: Minneapolis, Dallas, San Francisco, and then
honorable mention Washington.
Honorable.
DC.
Great vibes. And then worst cities.
I only have two in mind.
Just two. Let's hear it.
So the worst city was probably San Jose.
Various factors. Yeah.
Yeah, like the venue was kind of not great. I feel like I gave like the best performance I could have. The crowd was really dead.
They did 21 over,
Yeah, they did 21 over.
which is like I don't think it's a good idea. Not
But-
for this type of.
But I think like they were trying to like sell drinks and stuff like that, and that's why like it's 21 plus. Like
Yeah, but like there were venues that were not 21 plus, but then they had rules where wristbands where they separated them like totally different sections. Like still, you can still do that. Like you want to. There's like a good as you get older. I feel like some people don't get as excited or experience live shows with as much energy as like the younger kids. Like when you're out, you're full of energy. Like you're popping. Like they give the most. You know,
especially like from like 17 to 20. Yeah,
they're just excited. You know, so like when you cut them out, it just the crowd changes, the energy changes. Yeah.
But like I could tell that like everybody, not only me, but Sangstaa and also G did not like San Jose. Just okay, well, I'm not gonna speak for them, but I could tell that they got a little frustrated with the crowd. You know.
Yeah,
like,
energy was weird.
Yeah,
energy was weird.
People could.
Yeah.
People could tell that I was like pissed off.
Yeah.
I was telling people to vibe. And like there were some fans like in the crowd that would just like cross their arms and not even look at you during the performance.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy
because
it's
paid
like
money to be here.
What are you here for? You know, are you trying to like if you're trying to have fun, like you could, you know,
just
try
bounce a little bit. You know, you spend money to be here. Like I would just like you can't be grumpy. You know, throughout this whole thing. Yeah. And yeah, I think like you do enough shows at that point that you kind of know whether. You know the vibes. Yeah. You know if it's going to be a good show. You know whether it's going to be kind of tough to get through. Yeah. So at that point in San Jose, like vibes are off. And that's why San Francisco is crazy because you go San Jose, San Francisco back to back. And San Francisco, they went
San
hard.
Francisco
great energy.
Turned up.
Yeah.
They turned up.
Yeah. So, I mean.
The other city that was kind of poor was Vancouver. I don't like. See, no offense, Vancouver, but like your crowds, you guys gotta turn up a little bit more because I know y'all are a little more reserved, but like when we're out here, you know, just have some fun.
Venue was tough too because I don't know why this particular one
had seating.
It's kind of like a theater. They had seatings and also a pit, but the seating and the pit were like integrated. Yeah. So a lot of people just sat down. Yeah. Which like if everyone just gathered in the pit, I actually think the energy would have been pretty good.
I think it would have been better, but just from like previous Vancouver shows, the crowd is usually a little more tame.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that they're not having a good time. They're like still very like attentive and like listening to you, but it's just like they won't give you as much energy compared to like a Minneapolis or like a Washington.
Yeah, and then I mean, as we said, it was a mini food tour as well. So what was your most favorite thing that you had?
I mean, most memorable is definitely like the Dallas
that barbecue.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
That salad in Denver.
Life
changing. I don't know salads could taste like that. I'm not gonna lie. Like no joke.
I had that crawfish pasta.
Oh.
In Louisiana. In Baton Rouge. We also went gambling in Baton Rouge.
It was because it was your birthday that night. So you gotta celebrate a little bit. We didn't lose any money.
We didn't lose any money.
In fact, you're up a little bit.
A little bit.
So
like $10.
Look, if you don't lose money at a casino, you're living. Yeah. You're good. You know.
Yeah. But I think like it's important to like preface how you didn't lose money.
Okay. Here's a mini story. Okay. Ethan, his game roulette. Like
my game's roulette.
I don't really play roulette, and I wasn't feeling blackjack. Or you can't really play poker if you're trying to have fun, you know. So I go off to slots. I haven't really played slots, and I don't know what I'm doing low key. I actually put on the $1 rolls. So I was like, I put 100 in. I was rolling away my money real quick. Yeah, you know, and I'm down to my last $40 for that 100, and I'm like, what am I doing, man? And then I just hit a crazy jackpot, make my money back. I'm up 180 now. No, I'm up to 180. So I'm up $80 overall. And I walk over to, I roll some more because I'm a degenerate and I want some dopamine. And I lose a little bit of money, but for the most part, I pocket I'm up like $50 at that point. I walk over to roulette table because I'm done with slots. I'm like, this is not giving me enough dopamine. I'm a degenerate gambler. I see him playing roulette, and It looks like you were doing good at the time.
Yeah. So like I think for me, I was up and down. Ultimately, like down to my last $90. I came in with 200, and then I won it all back.
Yeah.
Plus 10, and then I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, you won it back, but I decided don't do this, or maybe do this. I don't know. I went on black. I put my last amount of money, and it didn't hit black, so I was down. And I wanted to do. It would just be a fun thing to commemorate his birthday, you know.
Yeah.
But the table was closing like right before midnight, and we kind of were just like, fuck it, I'll just do it. And then we lost. I'm like, that didn't feel good. That wasn't the vibes. Now it's actually your birthday at midnight. Let's go to the other table. We run it back. I get my money back. We leave.
Yeah.
Right?
He withdrew another like $100. Just like, nah.
Wait, that's when you got your money back? Because I walked away. You were
Yeah.
down, and I came back. You're like, oh, I saw your stack. I was like, what the heck? You're like, yeah, I just ran it back.
Yeah, just like got all my money back.
Yeah. And then we're like, all right, last roll. I put on black, put 100, make my money back 200 of the night. I mean, you lose a little bit on conversion fees, but
It is what it is.
it is what it is, man. It was a fun night.
Yeah.
Gamble responsibly. Don't do what we did.
I think we were pretty responsible though.
That's true. I mean, I only gamble money that I'm willing to lose.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still don't want to lose money, but the 200 is gone. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like $200. You can make it back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't lose money, so it was exciting. Yes. But shout out Louisiana. Great people. Uber drivers are chill.
Yeah.
The casino was chill. The
Food
food
was
was
great.
amazing. First time I had catfish. For
Oh,
real.
I still haven't had catfish yet.
It was good. It's kind of like it's just fish, but a little fishier, and I understand why they fry it because of the texture. So
Right.
it was really good.
Interesting.
Definitely Dallas most memorable. That salad in Denver changed my life, so I'll give it to honorable mention for that one.
What's like the third, like top three, like number three?
Yo, tacos in Chicago.
Oh yes, taco like the best chorizo taco I've ever had in Chicago.
It was crazy because I mean you found it,
Yeah.
and Chicago has a great food scene, underrated food scene, or maybe not underrated. I just didn't really view Chicago like that, but Chicago has great food.
Yeah.
Especially not Mexican food. I didn't really think of it.
Yeah.
We walked over. It was close to the venue, and it's in the back of a liquor store, and there's just like a kitchen there, and they're just cooking up tacos.
Yeah.
And you know it's gonna be good when like I'm talking to the guy to order, and I start speaking English.
He doesn't even speak English.
He looks over to the other guy, and he grabs the only guy that can speak English over, so we can order.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, that was whew. The lingua, like the
lingua?
like the beef tongue.
Beef
That was
tongue?
good. That was good.
Even the one in San Jose, Spartans.
Yeah, I mean, we've been told by locals it's a little basic, but
It was good to
really
us.
good. I liked it. It was like they deep fried like hard shell tacos basically, and
Yeah.
then they kind of put the tacos on top of it, or like
Yeah.
the meat on top of
Get
it.
the little crispies. That's the vibe.
Yeah, that was really
That's the
good.
order.
Yeah. So,
Vancouver had great food too, as always.
oh, Vancouver always has, and we know the spots.
Yeah, lunch lady.
Yeah.
But that Thai spot near our Airbnb was really good.
That was surprising. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just right up the street. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, we'll try it. I'm hungry.
Yeah,
Might as well.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
So shout out the mini food tour. That was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, moving back to like, if you were to do this tour again, what would you change, and sort of your kind of closing thoughts on everything?
I learned a lot from watching Sangstaa perform actually. So he's really good at interacting with the crowd and picking his spots of what he's gonna say and like how he's going to phrase things. And I think like if I were to do for my next tour, like I'm just gonna practice that a little more. Yeah.
Like the crowd interaction.
Yeah,
And things
exactly.
Like that. Yeah, he was really good at it. He was
Yeah.
natural. And sort of, yeah. Well, if we were to do a tour again, you know, what are some of the things that you're gonna look out for this time?
Not drinking, like
As much.
doing a back to back. I won't drink. I'm only drinking on off days. What else?
Preparation wise, you
I
feel
think
like
I prepared the best that I could have. I think like overall it was a really good tour.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Shout out GSoul, shout out Kohai, amazing people.
Yeah.
Like next time we go to a show and the person's on tour, like there are people behind the scenes that are working their butts off, in order to make that show happen
Yeah.
in the first place. It's not as easy as like, yo, headliner shows up, he plays, we're all good, walk away, go to the next city. Like there's so much planning and preparation to make sure that everyone's there and everyone's comfortable and everyone's prepared on stage, you know, like those things are really important. So.
Yeah. Shout out GSoul, shout out Kohai, and shout out to you too, bro. Like,
thank
you were there for me, and like, yeah, like I couldn't have asked for a better person to tour with. You know?
No, like likewise, it was a great opportunity, and I'm very thankful and humbled to be there and experience that. And it was a great tour overall. And okay, let me do a little side tangent for all the marijuana lovers out there. Okay, we go into the States. We understand, you know, in Canada, it's federally legal. We can smoke anywhere we want. You know, you can bring weed on planes if you really want to. In the States, it's not quite like that. Every state has their own sort of rules and laws and things like that. And it's definitely opening up a lot more. And it definitely blew my mind, the places that we were able to even legally go to a dispensary and check it out. You know what I'm saying? Or even smoke. Like, you think of a place like Texas, you don't even think you're like, Texas, no shot. Like, actually no shot. In the South, like, there's no way I'm going to be able to find any weed here.
Right.
We're in Dallas. Turns out Dallas is the only city where it is.
There's like loopholes or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's basically decriminalized and a couple loopholes in the way they sell. And yeah, because we walked into our morning routine and went to a 4-star hotel to take a dump. And we walk out and we're like, that's a dispo. Like, but we're in Texas. Like, how is this? And we walk into another one. We asked them, and they're like, yeah, the only city in Texas that's decriminalized. So got to try weed in Texas. California, of course, always the best, I will say. I think that was my favorite throughout the tour. If you're going to experience smoking marijuana, of course, responsibly. California is a great place to do it. It's a little scary, I will say. It's not like dispensaries here where it's very open. You know it's a dispensary.
Right.
Like some places in California, like a little more open, but like they're way more secretive. It's a little scary and intimidating, but it's a great place to go. And yeah, so it was a pleasant experience overall. I think America is progressing a lot more than I thought, and I'm really happy and excited for the future of weed there. I don't think they'll ever federally legalize, but you know, they're moving there.
Yeah.
More and more places is more accessible. I think culturally, like there's less stigma. I think that's a really good thing.
Right.
Yeah. And sort of wrapping up our thoughts on the tour and things like that. Sort of post tour. We talked about post tour depression, getting back into routine and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of how are you adjusting to life back here and just doing your thing in Toronto, and also like sort of what things are you planning for the future for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like right now, my main focus is like taking things a little slower, but also like getting into routine, hanging out with my friends again, going out, and just like feeling normal, if that makes sense. There's a lot of stuff that I need to like still process and unpack, which is why I'm going to my therapist, like literally, like in the next hour.
Yeah, I mean that's a great thing, you know.
Yeah, like shout out to you if you need to take care of your mental health.
Yeah,
regardless of if you're touring or not. It's just something
therapy's
that
just good. Even if you feel like you don't need it, it's like it's a good practice just to go.
Yeah,
and just have a place to be able to talk about your feelings.
Exactly. Yeah. What am I gonna do after? I think I'll be in Toronto for like maybe a month or two. Then I'm gonna go back to LA, finish up my project. After LA, I'm doing a little like festival run in Asia. And then after that, I think November, December, might be going on another tour.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah. A lot of stuff planned.
And I mean, when it comes to, kind of closing thoughts, when it comes to advice for people who may potentially go on tour as an opener or as a headliner, whatever it is, what sort of advice or things to look out for them that you would kind of learned on this tour?
Take your preparation really seriously, because at this point, like you're like an athlete, and so you have to train, you have to eat right, you have to make sure that you're getting good sleep, that you're physically and mentally healthy. Have fun on tour. A lot of people like don't remember to really like soak things in. You know, I think like this tour, I had a big focus on like just enjoying the moment and appreciating the moment for what it is. And like,
And there were a lot of great moments.
there are a lot of great moments. And to be frank, like touring is an opportunity that most people don't get to experience in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Like just the concept of it is so crazy.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And take care of your mental health. Like it's not easy on your like on your mental when you're going on tour. You're meeting a lot of people. You're doing some like crazy shit.
Yeah, you don't really get a private space or time at all.
No.
And you're constantly having to lock in and perform to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
It's our job, right?
Yeah.
But it takes a toll and on your mental.
Yeah.
And if you don't really take the time to appreciate the moment or take care of your mental, like you can break down towards the end, you know?
Definitely.
And very grateful to have people that on the tour and we were surrounded by and each other to like lean on in order to get through the tough times when it happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's probably like the advice that I would give.
Yeah. I hope that was kind of enlightening. We yapped a little bit, but you know, like when it comes to tour, like things are all over the place, you know? It's not as you think something would be linear. You see the path on the map, you're like, oh, we're going to travel like to all these places. But like when you're on tour, it gets chaotic, it gets messy, but we made it. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully cheers to many more in the future. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you for Ethan to come on.
Of course.
And we'll see you in the next one, baby.